is AD on the radio.
Today on the show, Asian NBA player Jeremy Lin was accused of cultural appropriation after getting dreadlocks. His response was pretty much perfect. Trump's ex-wife Ivana advises him on tweeting apparently, and Funkhouser thinks Mike Pence walking out of an Indianapolis Colts game was staged.
Fake news, alternative facts, fake news.
You're probably right.
Let's go. Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
Have you ever been told that you're culturally appropriating something or someone? Have you ever been told you're guilty of cultural appropriation? I have not, but some of my choices in my misspent youth, I think probably had cultural appropriation been more of a watchword, people would have given me a hard time about it. I was a white rapper. I rapped for a living professionally. I was in this obnoxious rap metal band, and we got signed, and I went around the world, and that's how I made my living. I had dreadlocks at one point, blue dreadlocks, and I don't know. I never felt like I was appropriating anything. Well, you know what was interesting, right? So a little history of this band I was in. We were kind of like this rap metal thing. I took rap music very seriously, and this band took metal music very seriously. And, well, we kind of wound up making the music that we made, really sort of organically just doing what it was we loved. But at the time, when I first started doing this, when I was a teenager, I'd been on a mission to grow my hair as long as I could. So I had, like, hair down to my butt, pretty much. And if you were in sort of like a rappy sort of situation with a bunch of guys in a rock band, and you had really long hair, what happens? Well, I'll tell you what happened. We were signed to a development deal by a publishing company, taken from our native England to America to try and secure a recording contract. And I get on stage, start doing my thing, and apparently, like, a bunch of A&R guys went, it's a Red Hot Chili Peppers clone. We're out. Because I had long hair and because I was rapping, I was told that I was an Anthony Kiedis clone. I was like, really? Because, I mean, I like the Chili Peppers, but in no way, shape, or form have I ever thought that guy's who I want to be as a vocalist and an artist. And like, yeah, it's just the long hair and the rapping. It's gotta go. And I started thinking, well, geez, do I need to get a haircut? And there was a review that was written about my band in some magazine where they said, yeah, they sound like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So there was a couple different things. I wanted to do something different with my hair because, two reasons. One, I kept getting accused of being an Anthony Kiedis clone. I wasn't trying to be that. Two, it was really kind of like uncomfortable to be hanging upside down from lighting rigs and have all this long hair being sucked down my windpipe as I was trying to sing and do all this ridiculous banana stuff that I was doing in the halcyon days of my misspent youth. So what did I do? I went and got cornrows, like Dexter Holland from The Offspring. And well, I mean, gosh, what was interesting was the same magazine that wrote a review saying that we were a lot like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They came to a different show, and this time the journalist said we were sort of like Faith No More meets The Offspring, which I thought was kind of awesome. But I was like, wow, with a flip of my hairstyle, I managed to completely change the sound of my band. Interesting, because we played all the same songs. Go figure. And then when I cut all my hair off, for a very sort of misguided period of my life, I had these blue dreadlocks. My point is, between the cornrows and between the rapping and between the fact that I love to write graffiti and between the dreadlocks and all of the above, I think about it now. I think I probably would have been accused of cultural appropriation left, right, and center just based on what's happening today. Saw that video a little while. You see that? Like some guy, some white kid with dreadlocks at college getting accosted by like 5 different black kids being like, what are you doing? You can't have those dreadlocks. It's not appropriate. You're culturally appropriating us. You're stealing from us. And what really made me think about it was, did you see what happened with Jeremy Lin? Jeremy Lin, in case you don't follow basketball, he's an Asian NBA player. He plays for the Brooklyn Nets. And he was accused of cultural appropriation by a guy that used to play for the Nets. This guy, Kenyon Martin, used to be a forward on the Nets because of his dreadlocks. In an Instagram video, he called him out for his hairdo, saying, "Do I need to remind this damn boy that his last name is Lin? Come on, man. Let's stop with these people. There's no way possible he would have made it on one of our teams with that BS on his head. Come on, man. Somebody needs to tell him, like, all right, bro, we get it. You want to be black. We get it. But your last name is Lin." And how Lin responded, I thought, was, well, an exemplary way to shine a light on what could wind up being a serious problem.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
So, this idea of cultural appropriation that was thrown at Jeremy Lin, an Asian NBA player for the Brooklyn Nets. He was accused by Kenyon Martin, who used to play for the Nets, used to be a forward for the Nets, of cultural appropriation because he had dreads. He said, come on, man, let's stop with these people. There's no way possible he would have made it on one of our teams with that BS on his head. Come on, man. Somebody needs to tell him, like, all right, bro, we get it. You want to be black. We get it. But your last name is Lin. And Lin's response, well, I really appreciated it for a couple reasons. One, he pointed out some inherent hypocrisy. Two, he did it in a way that I think sought to heal a divide, a respectful way. He said, hey, man, it's all good. You don't have to like my hair, and you're definitely entitled to your opinion. Actually, I'm legit grateful for you sharing it, to be honest. At the end of the day, I appreciate that I have dreads and you have Chinese tattoos because I think it's a sign of respect. And I think as minorities, the more we appreciate each other's cultures, the more we influence mainstream society. Ah, magical. The more we appreciate each other's cultures, the more we influence mainstream society. Thanks for everything you did for the Nets and for hoops. I had your poster on my wall growing up. Kind of a classy move. Lin, in case you didn't know, is a Harvard grad, and he's faced adversity in the NBA for being Asian ever since he got there. Now, cultural appropriation. This is an interesting one because more or less 100% of the time, people who cry cultural appropriation are people that feel as though they're suffering through some kind of inequality. Some kind of inequality, which honestly is probably there. Look, people who say that inequality and prejudice don't exist in America have their heads woefully buried in their sand or up their posteriors. I get the defensiveness with cultural appropriation, though. I get the defensiveness because people want to feel like something is theirs. Give you a perfect example that has nothing to do with race. But have you ever been to a San Diego Padres game? The San Diego Padres game are, for the most part, extraordinarily bad. Over the last couple of years, there has been times where they were absolutely the worst team in baseball. Being a fan of the San Diego Padres is to accept not just loss, but a team that seems to be able to find new ways to lose 162 times a year. Like really like heartbreaking defeats, managerial disasters and mishandlings. The moment anyone plays for the Padres and shows any kind of promise, it feels like they're immediately sold off. Like they're not trying to build something. The management are just trying to burn the whole thing down. That's what it feels like to the fans there. To be a fan of the San Diego Padres is to knowingly and cheerfully throw yourself in front of a bus of failure, hurtling at you at inevitable and high speeds. It's not good times. Oh, man, you know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the people that have to talk about the San Diego Padres on the radio. Try and remain interested. Try and get listeners to be in any way, shape, or form interested. The San Diego sports in general. I mean, San Diego sports radio really is just a bunch of nobodies talking to no one about nothing. It's a tough road to hoe. So I feel for the San Diego Padres fans because despite all this, the Padres fans, they are loyal and loving and diehard. And I'll never forget, I asked a Padres fan why that was. Like, why do you love this team so much? It's not like they're good. And first and foremost, I understand liking a team that's not so great. I've been a New York Mets fan my entire life, and, well, that's not an easy road to hoe. But, you know, everybody has their own reasons. So I was curious. I asked Padres fans why do you even exist? Why are you a Padres fan? And I heard this from multiple people. But the thing that you'll notice among Padres fans is they'll tell you something similar to what this guy told me. He said, I'm a native San Diegan. San Diego is a beautiful city, beautiful beaches, great weather, nice people. So people move to San Diego. Everybody wants to come to San Diego. Half the people that live in San Diego are not from San Diego. Everybody wants to come here. Nobody wants to leave. And that's fine. And we certainly get it. It's great. But if you're a native, the Padres are something that belong to you. It's for San Diego people. It's about San Diego. And people that constantly move here from all over the country, well, they might like our beaches and our weather and our people, he told me, but they've got no interest in our baseball team. So it's one of the few things that is uniquely ours. The Padres are us, and that's why we love them. I was like, wow, that's beautifully put. So I get it. I totally understand the desire to have something that is uniquely yours, some kind of cultural identifier that you can hang your hat on that makes you proud. I grew up in England. I'm half English. Knowing how to make a good cup of tea, enjoying a good cup of tea is something that I'm really into. I derive great pleasure in telling people that if you're warming up a bag of Lipton in the microwave, you're a Philistine, a cad, and a bounder and don't know how to make or enjoy a real cup of tea. Shame on you. People from New York as well. They swell with hometown pride in New York City when they tell you where to get the best slice of pizza. And they knowingly get a sense of insider value as they tell you the incredibly confusing, if you're not from there, subway route that you need to hop to get to the place where you buy that best slice of pizza. So people wanting to hold up pieces of individuality and cultural identity and get some pride out of it and feel like other people don't deserve that, I get it. But it gets dangerous, and we'll discuss how.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of yous, guys out there in Radio Land.
All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on.
So Jeremy Lin, Asian NBA player for the Brooklyn Nets, was accused of cultural appropriation by former Nets forward Kenyon Martin because he's got dreadlocks. His response was, I thought, very classy and very cool. He said, it's all good. You don't have to like my hair, and you're definitely entitled to your opinion. And I'm grateful for you sharing it. At the end of the day, I appreciate that I have dreads and you have Chinese tattoos because I think it's a sign of respect. And he also said something I thought was magical. He said, I think as minorities, the more we appreciate each other's culture, the more we influence mainstream society. So he could have got all upset. He could have got all offended. He could have done whatever he wanted to do and created a divide between him and this guy who took a rather short-sighted approach to his hairstyle. But instead, he used it as an opportunity to take the high road and set an example, which I thought was cool. Now, as we were saying, the idea of wanting to have some sort of cultural identifier that is uniquely yours, I get it. Like I said, I'm English. I appreciate a real cup of tea. And I guess, talk about how I appreciate a real cup of tea and how, a bag of Lipton in the microwave does not a proper cup of tea make. People from New York swell with pride when they talk about the best slice of pizza. People from Wisconsin have fridge drawers full of cheese. Folks from Chicago will immediately tell you the Cubs, the Bulls, the Bears. People from Texas will happily inform you that your In-N-Out Burger, California, doesn't come close to their Whataburger. Surfers in Hawaii don't take kindly to a haole stealing their wave, and so on and so forth. It's completely understandable to have or to want to have something that is all your own. But where it gets sticky is this. You see, in the same way that someone from St. Louis could tell you don't know anything about barbecue if you're not from the Lou, when it comes to folks getting incensed about cultural appropriation, when it comes to things like music and haircuts and clothes, these are opportunities to come together. And when we don't take those opportunities, it's not helping. I don't know if you caught it. There was some new venue opening up in Detroit a little while back. Kid Rock was picked as the first act to play it. Black journalists in Detroit about lost their mind, screaming at the venue, how could you possibly let Kid Rock represent Detroit music? This auspicious event, and you're going to let a white guy that culturally appropriated rap music play it? Jeremy Lin, according to Kenyon Martin, wouldn't have made the team with dreadlocks. These are the rallying cries of people who in many cases feel like they come from a culture of oppressed people without equal opportunity. And in many cases, quite rightly feel that way. But nothing good will come of this. Nothing good will come of this. Saying this is for me, not for you, that creates a divide. In one of the most shameful chapters of our nation's history, white people said it to others with regard to lunch counters and drinking fountains and seats on the bus. This is for me, not for you. Divide is no good and does no good to anyone. We've said it time and time again. We've said it time and time again on this show. The one thing that destroys prejudice is contact. It's easy to get mad at someone you've never met before. It's easy to hold a grudge against someone that you don't have in your face all that often. It's one of the magical things about San Diego that I was talking about. There's this enormous military culture in San Diego, plunked down right in the middle of hippy-dippy tofu sprout eating California. And, well, where I'm from, in the Northeast, pretty fair to say the vast majority of the people that you know are going to be liberal Democratic types. Where I lived for the last 10 years in Houston, Texas, the exact opposite. Guns, no Obama, very far right-leaning. And what's interesting about places like San Diego that prove that prejudice is destroyed by contact is that, say somebody voted differently than you, but they're your neighbor. They loan you their lawnmower, a cup of sugar, or they might be really, really hot. You tend to realize pretty quick that your differences at the voting booth, they really kind of don't matter. So like I said, anytime you draw a line, anytime you define something as yours, not theirs, anytime you seek to differentiate people in an aggressive manner, in an accusatory way, it's just making that divide wider. And it will probably cause this inequality to live longer. So I applaud Lin, not only for his clever response, but because he reached out to Kenyon with a message of respect, and he attempted to heal a rift that Kenyon was doing his best to create. And to those that would scream cultural appropriation when it comes to things that can genuinely bring people together, music, style, especially music. Music is just this incredibly powerful tool for bringing people together. we need more of that, not less. And every time someone screams cultural appropriation because Kid Rock raps, every time you do that, you're widening a divide. Every time someone accosts a Jeremy Lin for having dreadlocks, you're widening a divide. And that's a divide that prejudiced racist people who would seek to diminish you are only too happy about. So please, don't give them that. All right, Funkhouser, shall we do a little news? Have you ever been accused of culturally appropriating anything, Funkhouser?
Not that I can recall. Except a news person, I think.
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhouser.
I mean, that's not a cultural thing. It's just a
Did you culturally appropriate Tom Brokaw? I don't know if you culturally appropriated it. Maybe you misappropriated it, though. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, man, before we do news, did you see... All right, question for you, Funkhouser. Are you buying it? You saw that Vice President Mike Pence bailed on an NFL game early because the Indianapolis Colts and the San Francisco 49ers played, and he left early on Sunday because some of the players knelt during the national anthem, saying, quote, "I will not dignify any event that disrespects our soldiers, our flag, our national anthem." Do you think that was real or was that staged? Because now everyone's jumping all over it saying it was staged.
Oh, it's totally staged.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. I think a lot more of this stuff is staged. That's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, and it was staged in such an unbelievably ham-fisted way. I mean, first and foremost, I haven't really been following it in the NFL. I don't know exact numbers, but I was under the impression that every time there was a football game played, some people would be kneeling during the national anthem. Not everybody, and I think the brouhaha has died down a little bit. And I think maybe it was because the brouhaha died down a little bit that they staged this thing. Like, if you're Mike Pence and you're going to be so upset by people kneeling during the national anthem that you're going to leave the football game, this week, I think you could pretty much count on somebody kneeling and having to leave. So why he made this trip to the football game, it makes absolutely no sense. It seems like he made the trip just so he could walk out. See, he flew from Las Vegas to the Indianapolis game, only to fly back to Los Angeles on Sunday. And members of the press pool traveling with Pence in Indiana were reportedly told to wait in vans because he might leave the game early. It's just like, what are you doing? Look, you're trying to manufacture some outrage, and you're doing it in a really, really ham-fisted way. I don't know if you caught it, but the Indianapolis Star noticed some glaring inconsistencies about Pence's tweets with regard to the game. At 8:27 a.m., Pence tweeted a picture of himself dressed in a Colts-branded polo shirt and a hat, along with his wife, saying, "Looking forward to cheering for our Colts and honoring the great career of number 18 Peyton Manning at Lucas Oil Stadium today. Go Colts." The Indianapolis Star pointed out that Pence had tweeted the same photo in November of 2014 when he was governor of Indiana. And then at 10:42 a.m., Pence tweeted another picture, this time of himself dressed in a suit jacket and a button-up shirt standing for the anthem. And an Associated Press photo showed Pence in the same outfit giving a thumbs up to the crowd. Yeah. Anyways, people are mad. People are mad because it seems like willful deception on the part of our government. And people are mad because, well, guess who footed the bill for him to fly to the game from Vegas and then back to Los Angeles after having manufactured a little bit of outrage? That would be you and me. It was a publicity stunt. Do it on your own time. Thank you very much. really, really, really just unconscionably ham-fisted and unsubtle. And if you're not going to try a little harder to cover your tracks when you do something so willfully deceitful, you deserve to be called out on it. If you're going to lie, at least spend some of the tax dollars that our nation hands you as your salary, which you then fritter away. At least spend some of those hiring decent writers for your lie. Just such a freaking joke. Anyways, what else, Funkhouser? What's going on in the world?
Well, Kate Winslet turned 42 last week.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kate Winslet, 42 years old. It's one of those things where it's interesting to picture her as being 42 because it happens to so many people that are culturally frozen in our minds because they had a massive moment of success. Like when you picture Mick Jagger, you picture Mick Jagger in the 1960s. When you picture the Beatles, you picture them it's just one of those things. When people hit their sort of like apex of success and they're part of the media, they get frozen in time. Like for me, I think the hottest woman on the face of the planet was Drew Barrymore in Charlie's Angels. And you know what? It's funny because if I see Drew Barrymore now, I go, yep, still hot. However, the moment I see her, I'm picturing her licking the steering wheel in the zip-up jumpsuit in Charlie's Angels. Oh, happy day. Yeah, Kate Winslet, 42 years old this week. You know how she celebrated, Funkhouser?
How?
Kate Winslet celebrated her birthday by having a piece of birthday cake that she could have shared with Leonardo DiCaprio, but instead kept all for herself.
The what?
You're aware of the controversy. There was room for Leo on the raft too.
Oh. Yeah.
Did you ever? I can't remember. I feel bad quoting him because I can't remember the comic that came up with the bit, but it was genius. It was like he said, the way relationships go, you can tell that Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet had just met when Titanic happened. He's like, if that has been a couple that have been together for like 5 years, be like, get in the boat, Rose. Just get in the boat, Rose. You never draw me naked anymore. Who was that? Do you remember it?
No.
It's genius.
No, I'm familiar with the bit though.
Yeah, I hate using it. Like, I hate talking about it on the air without being able to credit the person. Yeah, somebody tweet us at ADSXC or at FunkFM. Let us know who came up with that genius bit. Go on.
Someone knows.
Somebody knows.
The paparazzi continue to hound O.J. Simpson in Las Vegas.
Oh, come on. Why can't they just let the past go so he can get on with his life?
Did you see the spoof on SNL? You really have to. It's awesome.
No, I gotta watch it. No, I haven't seen it.
Got homework.
Haven't seen it. Do you watch anything live anymore?
Do I watch anything live? No, not really. No, I have been watching CNN a lot though lately. That's about it in terms of live. I'm not watching scripted stuff live.
Really? You watch CNN?
Yeah.
I can't take it. Nor can I take Fox News. I'm not being partisan here. I just this is why I like to get all my news from, I read my news. I don't want some talking head with an axe to grind thinking they're the next Megyn Kelly and this is going to be their moment to shine by, the manufactured outrage, as you might have picked up on when we were talking about Mike Pence. It kind of drives me batty because it's absolutely non-productive and it doesn't do anybody good. But I like to be able to read the news because, and hopefully it's as fact-based as possible because, it's just the news personality seeking to snag themselves a bit of celebrity by telling us what happened today is beyond me. It's news people are kind of almost sort of there's some folks that are really great interviewers and that's cool. But I kind of equate them with actors and that just if you have nothing to offer, if you can't write something, if you're not able to create something that is of any sort of lasting cultural or entertainment value, then just, either be a politician or get on the news. It's just, like I said, empty.
Most of the time, but I'm watching it when there's breaking news. That's what I'm tuned in.
Yeah.
When live stuff's going down. We've had a lot of news lately. I'm not watching
in terms of live situations developing.
Yeah, no, I'm not really watching the guy's comment about commentary. That commentary happened.
You're not there
earlier.
For the editorialization. No, You're there for the up to the second fact. Me too.
more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you my musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a body better than me. Back once again.
Hey, Funkhouser.
Yeah.
Did you see this idea that's been floated out there that President Trump tweets because his ex-wife, Ivana, tells him to?
Oh, no. That's an interesting angle. Do you believe that?
Well, we'll talk about the details and exactly what she had to say a little later on. But she did say, I advise the president on tweeting. Mm-hmm. So we'll get to that and the whys and wherefores and whether or not you believe it a little later. What else is going on in the world?
The Defense Department announced that only 5.4% of Puerto Ricans have electricity and only 12.1% have cell service.
Although, thanks to President Donald J. Trump, almost 100% of them have paper towels. So there's that.
You get a paper towel and you get a...
One roll. Make it last.
Yeah. Use it twice. Flip it over. A Texas woman has had 8 surgeries to look like Melania Trump.
8?
8 surgeries.
Now, on the surface of things, you probably think that's crazy. However, I'd like to point out, if this woman has had 8 surgeries to look like Melania Trump, that's not as excessive as you think. I think, in fact, if you add it all up, that's 3 surgeries less than Melania Trump had to look like Melania Trump. So she's actually sort of ahead of the game.
President Trump has just passed Pope Francis in Twitter followers.
Once again, Trump's in a news story where he's at odds with a guy who kneels a lot. Fake news, alternative facts. Go on.
The Obamas celebrated their 25th wedding anniversary this week.
I wonder, do you have a suggestion as to how a former president of these United States of America should celebrate?
You know, he can go...
If you do, Funkhouser, I would imagine that Barack's all ears.
Well, yeah. Billionaire Warren Buffett is buying a major stake in Pilot Flying J truck stops.
No kidding.
Warren Buffett.
Flying
J.
You know, Warren Buffett's done rather well at making the money. So I would imagine that he's probably onto something with Flying J. I love a Flying J.
Maybe we're falling into the world of, like, automated everything. You know, because I just went to a McDonald's without a person in it. It's very strange.
Kidding. No kidding. What did you how did you order and how did your food get delivered to you?
I didn't order. I just went in one and I was freaked out by the whole experience.
So there was no one there at the front taking your order, right?
No, they're all in the back cooking.
They're cooking. So, but like when people get food, does it just come down a chute?
No, I think they still call out numbers and stuff.
Oh, okay. So you order it, probably by pressing some numbers on a kiosk, and then they hand it to you. So there still is some sort of human interaction that goes on there. That's about to be a thing of the past.
Yeah. Warren Buffett knows.
Warren Buffett. Flying J truck stops are awesome. As a guy in a band, I got very familiar with various truck stops and which ones were good and which ones were not. And a Flying J, if you ever find yourself on a long road trip in a bathroom emergency situation and you're dreading the disgusting gas station rest stop, trust me on this one. A Flying J is always spotlessly clean. You know what else is always spotlessly clean? You don't have these in California. And you don't really have them on the East Coast too much. But if you ever are in Texas, go to a Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's, their mascot is a beaver. And not only do they have really, really good food, they've got sort of odds and ends that you can buy. And it's impossible to shop in there without dropping $100. I don't know how they get you, but they get you every single time. You're like, oh, yeah, I definitely want to ironically purchase a sparkly Texas flag back patch. But that's what I want. $73 seems fair. But the thing that Buc-ee's does have, it's got these things. Have you ever had beaver nuggets?
No. Huh? Only in my imagination have I ever heard those two words
I can't
together.
even tell you what they are. Like, I don't know what flavor they are other than delicious. And they're kind of like Corn Pops, but not cereal. They're sort of like the shape of a Corn Pop, and you eat them, and they're awesome, and they're sweet and delicious, and you can't not eat the entire bag if you purchase one of them while you're at Buc-ee's. The other thing they have that's really good is coffee. Also they've got really good fudge. I think I just love everything at Buc-ee's because everything at Buc-ee's is awesome. They've got really good coffee. They've got really good fudge. Also,
here comes another endorsement. I smell it right now. Go ahead.
I wish. Man, if I could get Buc-ee's to pay me money to talk about how much I loved them, it's one of those things I'd do for free. The Buc-ee's jerky. They've got like 20 different types of jerky, like turkey jerky, beef jerky, elf jerky, like all this stuff. Elk jerky, not elf jerky. That would be weird. But like delicious beaver nuggets and great coffee and fantastic fudge and, sparkly denim like you wouldn't believe. And also a fantastic selection of jerky. But if you go to a Buc-ee's, cleanest rest stop, cleaner than you have at home. Cleaned way more than your bathroom at home. Like, I don't think a butt touches a seat. And I don't think that between the time your butt touches a seat and another butt touches a seat, it isn't washed. Meaning someone is in there ready to clean it spotlessly clean. And you know what it does? When a bathroom's nice and clean, Funkhouser, are you apt to aim a little more carefully when you go in there?
Oh, no, I love demolishing it.
Oh, you do? Oh, that's horrible.
No, I'm just
because if some place is an absolute disaster area, you're like, whatever, I just want to make this quick and get it over with, and I'm definitely not touching that seat to lift it up because no way, no how that any part of me is coming into contact with any part of that. No. But if something is spotlessly clean, you're like, oh, I don't want to be the jerk that messes it up. And like a Buc-ee's, I swear to gosh, the moment somebody's butt touches it, the moment that butt is gone, it is cleaned. And your butt will never touch a seat without it being cleaned first at a Buc-ee's. Huh. I don't think that's the verbiage they use when they talk about how nice their bathrooms are, but it should be. Go on.
Well, there's a new study that shows vegetarian women are 3 times more likely to have children who abuse drugs and alcohol.
I saw this. Like, generally speaking, you think vegetarianism is the healthier option, but they don't know what the correlation is. But if you are a vegetarian mom, your kids are 3 times more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, which sounds crazy. But hey, you try staying sober when your mom's constantly piling your plate full with giant piles of steamed kale. Ugh, nobody likes kale.
There's something happening here. And you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So Donald Trump's ex-wife, Ivana Trump, took credit for President Trump's tweeting in a new interview that's going to be on CBS. Or I think maybe it already has been on CBS, but yeah. Do you believe this, Funkhouser? Does Ivana Trump really advise the president on his tweets?
Yeah.
You buy it?
Uh-huh.
Well, we'll hear what she had to say about it a little later on. What else?
I don't think they've spoken to each other very much, though, so I don't know.
I don't know. They've got kids together. Don't they? Is that the one that he bred with?
I don't know.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Anywho.
A Tennessee man dressed as a pirate was arrested for burglary. Oh, here we go. I know what's coming here.
But I don't want to be a pirate. So if you heard, Funkhouser, if you heard that a man was arrested while dressed as a pirate, what crime would you think he was arrested for? Would you think that it was burglary? Maybe perhaps he was stealing your car?
Robbery.
I would have guessed arson. You knew where it was going, but you were still happy when it got there.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like Disneyland.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday was National Taco Day.
You know, and I for the life of me, I don't understand. Like, is it a specific date? Like October the 4th? Is that always National Taco Day? Or is that National Taco Day this year?
You mean like the first Thursday of the month or something? I think it's a date. I think the National Taco Day is a specific October 4th.
You know, like because I was giving away tacos on the radio in honor of National Taco Day. Delicious Rubio's tacos. We were giving them away. And the promotions person was like, so yeah, on National Taco Day, you're giving these away. It'll be on Wednesday. I'm like, that can't be right. They're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, Wednesday's National Taco Day. I was like, how is it not Taco Tuesday? How was National Taco Day not on a Tuesday? I was completely confused by the whole thing. But yeah, last Wednesday was National Taco Day, which for many made Thursday National Soothing Flushable Wipe Appreciation Day.
National Clean Bathroom Day.
Yeah, National
Time for
Take
the gas
that,
station.
Buc-ee's Day.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announced this year's nominees yesterday. Did you catch them?
Yeah, so carry on with your day, Kajagoogoo. You know what songs Kajagoogoo sing?
Well, they sung the Too Shy song.
That's that's pretty much it.
And then, hold on, there's another. Nope, that's it.
No, that's it. The lead singer of Kajagoogoo. Why I know this is beyond me. But the lead singer
Kajagoogoo news. Okay.
Lead singer of Kajagoogoo. Well, it's not exactly news because the movie came out all those years ago. But the lead singer of Kajagoogoo was a guy called Lamal, and he sang the theme to the Never-Ending Story, the movie. Never-Ending Story.
Huh.
Oh, that movie. You remember that?
I did not know that.
That was Lamal of Kajagoogoo going solo. He got tired of singing Too Shy.
Those are probably some nice checks coming in the mail.
A friend of mine had a joke, and I think it's kind of an English thing. I don't know if it was exclusive to my friend, but he used to say, Kajagoogoo. No, these are stretch jeans.
Huh.
Did you get it? Did you get it? Kajagoogoo? Nah, these are stretch jeans.
I think I got it.
Okay.
I might have to write that down to fully get it.
All right.
Bon Jovi was nominated for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Bon Jovi.
It's crazy to me to think that bands like Green Day and Pearl Jam are already in there, and Bon Jovi not so much. And you know what? It isn't even a given that they're going to get in. Bon Jovi were nominated for induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which means they're only halfway there. I'll show myself out.
There should be some sort of thing, though, that must be accomplished instead of going in front of a bunch of people and being judged. Having be a nominee. The New York Times ran a story accusing movie mogul Harvey Weinstein of sexually harassing women for decades.
Yeah,
and now he's out.
Now he's out. He got fired from his own, like the Weinstein Company fired him.
How's that going to work?
Well, I don't know. You know who was all up in it? Was Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan, and I don't know how or why this happened, but Rose McGowan started following me on Twitter, and I followed her on Twitter, and we actually sort of like chit-chat back and forth, and she was in the middle of this when all this happened the other day. And I don't want to speak for her. Maybe we can get her on the show, and it still kind of like weirds me out that Rose McGowan follows me on Twitter. But whatever. She was one of the people that was in the middle of all this, and she was one of the people that spoke up. And I think it's such a powerful thing that this happened in such a high-profile way, because it's unimaginable to me that someone who was abused or harassed or molested or assaulted or any of these horrible, horrible things would stay silent. Like, if somebody did something like that to me or someone I knew, man, I would want their asses to fry, and I would do everything I possibly could. But I think part of the predatory nature of people that do this is they manage to find people that have a reason to keep silent. And I think so many people keep silent, and it allows a perpetuation of a horrifically awful cycle, and it allows a perpetuation of this idea that the people that do that can get away with it. So I was stoked. I was stoked to see this guy go down, and it looks like he is, and that's a really, really good thing. All right. What else, Funkhouser?
Netflix announced they are raising their prices.
Oh, hold on a second. No, I'm just getting an update. Harvey Weinstein has been fired, but not before he got a chance to greenlight the new Bill Cosby movie. What were you saying?
Netflix announced they are raising their prices.
Oh, yeah, which means it will now cost more money for the person whose password you stole. So there's that.
Dwight Howard wants to be a farmer after basketball.
I saw that. Unlike everybody else in the NBA who wants to plant their seed in a Kardashian. I couldn't. Tried to. Couldn't keep the straight face. God.
If Vladimir Putin has happy birthday in the morning time, tomorrow is 65. Vladimir Putin.
Are you saying that Vladimir Putin has turned 65?
I said in perfect English.
Yeah. Vladimir Putin is 65 years old. Although, I got to say, he doesn't look a day over 39, to people that want to live.
39 again.
Yeah. What do you get for the man who has everything but a shirt, apparently? I think if you do want to get Vladimir Putin a gift, you really can't go wrong with Croatia. I think that would make him very happy. What else?
President Trump says tax cuts will increase investment, spur growth, and create broader prosperity.
Mm-hmm. And, when hasn't he been straight and up front with us about taxes before? I like this idea. No, like he's creating tax cuts, and there's a lot of brouhaha about, hey, these are tax cuts for, people that are uber rich. And he's saying, well, this is sort of trickle down economics all over again. And well, that's a whole show in and of itself, and I'm sure we'll wind up talking about it at length at some other time. What else?
A Florida man was arrested for stealing a woman's something.
Oh, the Bible. The guy that stole the Bible?
Yeah.
Yeah, too bad the book doesn't say anything about what we should do to those who trespass against us. Ironic. Go on.
A deadly hepatitis. I've never seen that word written. Yeah.
Oh, really? I was like,
so.
The word hepatitis, right? You know how to pronounce it, but you've never seen it written?
I don't think so.
Well, that bodes well. That bodes well for any females that are looking to date Funkhouser.
So there you go.
He's never seen the word hepatitis written, which means nowhere in his prescription cabinet will you find anything that suggests you need to run away, quickly run away. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Deadly hepatitis outbreak in California, right?
Yeah, it could last for years, it says here.
Yeah, that's not good for you, Funkhouser. You're in California. You're trying to date. You're single, looking to mingle. You're looking for physical and romantic attachment, and you are putting yourself in a position by doing that with people from California that could wind up getting you killed. Deadly hepatitis outbreak could last for years, or at least until Keeping Up with the Kardashians is canceled, whichever comes first.
That's two.
That's two.
Applebee's is selling margaritas for $1 through October.
Yeah. Oh, it's a great way to cope with the fact that you're eating Applebee's. I like Applebee's.
Hey, they're mostly automated too. They have a little thing on the desk. There's a server person that comes up and everything, but when you pay, they're like, "Oh, just use the screen there." It's very futuristic. At least my city Applebee's has that. I
got to tell you, I haven't had one in years. Maybe it would be like I used to be able to eat food that wasn't that great for me and feel fine. And it was like the Kevin James thing. Like, used to be able to eat 3 Big Macs and finish out the day like a hummingbird. Now I do it and I feel like a bear that got shot like a sedative dart. But I got to tell you, eating crap food makes me feel awful. And I used to really love the Applebee's sampler platter, and now I think I would probably it would KO me for like 2 days because old. But it's just like, yeah.
You better get to that. You better get to that thing though, because we only have like a minute.
Oh man. Okay. Well, seems like President Trump doesn't ask for a whole lot of advice from anyone when it comes to Twitter, because if he did, he probably wouldn't do what he does anymore. But that's not the case. Trump's first wife, Ivana, did an interview with CBS Sunday Morning. And she said that they talk to each other weekly. And he asked her for advice even when it comes to whether or not he should tweet. And she actually encourages him to do it, saying, quote, "I tell him, I think you should tweet. It's a new way, a new technology." Have a listen to this.
Is he still a big part of your life?
Yeah, he is.
In what way?
Well, we speak to each other.
How often?
Yeah, maybe once a week.
He asks for your advice?
And he's still asking me for advice, yes.
What will he ask you your advice about?
He asked me about, should I tweet, should I not tweet, you know?
He asked you, should he tweet?
Yeah.
And what if you told him?
I said, I think you should tweet.
And she said Trump offered to make her the American ambassador to the Czech Republic, but she turned it down because she has a perfect life right now and doesn't want to take on a job that will keep her from doing the things that she wants to do.
On CBS Sunday Morning this week, Jim Axelrod has a one-on-one interview with Trump's first wife, Ivana, in which we learn the nature of her relationship with the president today.
Is he still a big part of your life?
Yeah, he is.
In what way?
He's still asking me for advice, yes.
What will he ask you your advice about?
He asked me about, should I tweet, should I not tweet, you know?
He asked you, should he tweet?
Yeah.
And what if you told him?
I said, I think you should tweet.
Yes, keep tweeting. Where's my check?
If you want to tweet us, at ADSXC is where you can do so, or you can tweet Funk
Happy
FM
birthday,
at Funk
President.
FM.
Yes.
Oh, we're all so screwed. Goodbye.